You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
It's time to spin round the rim. This is Desert Planet Discs. Star Wars music in a single file. Here are your hosts, Carl Bayless and Greg Robertson.
Following live broadcast is recommended by the Imperial Council in the belief that your commitment to remain upstanding citizens will be reinforced. It is required viewing for all members of the Imperial forces.
Time now for
Desert Planet Discs,
brought to viewers everywhere in the hope that our own lives may be uplifted by the comparison and enriched with the gratitude of relief. This transmission is unrehearsed and unedited, and is hereby begun without further comment as to its lack of moral value.
Hot dang, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of Desert Planet Discs. This is Greg here, aka Darth Elvis. Kicking off the show, we had the Star Wars theme medley bluegrass cover from guitarist, songwriter, and samurai. Born in the Manitoba prefect of Canada, samurai guitarist Steve San Onotera. You can check him out on Patreon at patreon.com/samurai guitarist. Outstanding work from that man. Before we go any further, I need to bring my co-host in. This is the way we do things in Desert Planet Discs. Please welcome to the stage Mooncat Drums, Carl Bayless. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Not too bad. How many bands have you joined since I last spoke to you?
How many bands have I joined since I last spoke? Probably just the one. But I am now officially just about at bands and days of the week limit.
Wowzers.
Unless I get a suitably good offer. But there we go. There we go.
Never know what's going to happen, eh?
Yes. Yeah, so
how is life treating you?
Same old. Yeah, been a good week, a good month even for new musical discoveries in the Star Wars realm. So you lucky listeners will be hearing the first fruits of that today. In fact, we've already heard one from Samurai Guitarist. And as usual, do check him out on all the usual download platforms. and streaming sites and wherever you get your music. But yeah, lots and lots and lots of interesting new music and versions of some of the classic themes and stuff that we've found over the last few weeks. So more of that to come, not only in this show but in future shows. So stay tuned. In fact, one particular rabbit hole I did disappear down was a Spotify playlist, 12 hours of Cantina band.
Oh, wow.
which I think is probably some form of audio torture employed by, unscrupulous warmongers or something.
Jizzmongers.
Yeah, it's heavy going. But if you like the John Williams Cantina Band theme, Old Figuring Dan and his mates, their only song, then it's one maybe not for the faint-hearted, but definitely fun. And yeah, just loads and loads and loads of different interpretations of that classic theme. So again, some more of those to come in future shows.
Indeed.
But talking of new things, we've had a whole month and a bit since the last regular show. Obviously, we did our Podcast Day special on the 7th of Feb, along with several other Fantha Tracks shows. So if you haven't checked all those little nugget episodes out, then go to your usual podcast streams and check those out as well. Some really, really good content for Podcast Day, not just from Fantha Tracks, but from loads and loads and loads of shows. There were well over 100 shows involved in the end this year. So hats off to the Star Wars podcasts and podcasters group for organising that again. And hopefully we'll be back for our third year running in 2024.
The hat trick. Get the hat trick in there.
Get the hat trick in there, indeed.
And while you're at it, also, you need to listen back to the Hashtag Cantina special we did with Mark Jed and Martin, the Martin Keeler. Get him shout out early.
Yes.
Go back and listen to that show if you've not heard it to get all this sort of inside information on Hashtag Cantina.
Yeah.
More on Cantina news a little bit later on the show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what this is going to be, so I'm staying tuned as well.
So yeah, what's been dropping through your letterbox, Star? Have you had any Desert Planet discounts?
Desert Planet discounts? No, it's been a little bit of a barren few weeks, really. Nothing much. I think with my post-Christmas sales salvo, that kind of dried up the well, really. There hasn't been an awful lot, but keeping the pennies tight to hopefully be able to spend on a few bits at Celebration, which is just a few short weeks away now.
That's crazy. It's catching up fast.
I know. So I did, however, attend recently the 12th edition of the Echo Live show, which regular listeners will have heard us wax lyrical about before. Always a really good show, lovely atmosphere, lovely family vibe, loads and loads and loads of collectibles from vintage to modern, and from sort of beat up vintage toys to top end hot toys, statues and things like that. And as I think we mentioned on one of the previous shows, a 35 grand vinyl Cape Jawa mint on card and things like that. So always a great show. Lovely to catch up with the guys there, and a lot of our friends and extended Fantha family. And they've reported that they raised over £3,300 for this year's charity, which is Friends to Friends. And they've already announced or started to tease the next show with some Jabba's Palace artwork. So intriguing, to say the least, because that obviously covers a multitude of things, obviously being Jedi 40th anniversary, but also ties it into Book of Boba Fett as well. So no dates yet announced for the next show, but if I was a betting man, I would be saying September, October time later in the year. So the dust will have well and truly settled following Celebration.
Yeah,
And,
hopefully they'll get some Jabba's Palace signing guests at a fraction of the price.
Yes,
of,
yes.
Other conventions coming up.
Yes, yes. And one of the other highlights of Echo Live this time was a Palatoy talk by Bob Breakin and Jeff Maisie, who were the chief designer and the marketing manager for the Star Wars range put out by Palatoy back in the 70s and 80s. And that was a real hit with the obviously the vintage collectors. So a really good day. Chance to catch up with a few of the crew. So roll on the next one.
Excellent. Yeah. So I've had a couple of things actually come through new in the collection.
Roosevelt shirts?
No, let's see. I'm behaving because I'm going to America in the summer, and I'm thinking I go over there. I won't have to pay all the shipping costs and risk the fees, the what you call them,
import fees and tax and
all that jazz. Yeah, I got away with it the last time, but the last two times before that I wasn't so lucky. But I got you spoke about the Jizz Master earlier on, Fergal Rodan. Fergal Rodan. Got the vintage collection figure of him and purple helmeted Luke Skywalker Skittle figure.
Nice.
Two I had on pre-order for some time, and a nice package came from all the cool stuff. Mr. Dave Tree. Which, funny story, Dave being a good mate, always addresses my box to a really cheeky message on the box.
Yes.
Now, I work from home, but I didn't happen to be at home at the time that this was trying to be delivered, so I went to one of my neighbours. And I think he'd written to Mr. Lover Man, be my Valentine, and address. So the postie and the neighbour had a good laugh at that. But yeah, some of the stuff he writes on is
yes.
We can talk about it on air.
Yeah. Not a family show. Not a family show.
Not a family show, exactly. Other couple of things I got recently. I think I've had my eye on for a while. Being a big fan of the Star Wars Visions, and this particularly the Ronin episode. I'm a big fan of samurai stuff in general, like samurai guitarists. I got the Ronin statue and the Ronin in his droid Funko Pop recently.
Nice.
They came around Valentine's Day, I think, if I remember.
Oh.
But that's me. I'm saving for America, saving for Celebration, saving for all the hashtag Cantina merchandise. And more Cantina news later on some Darth Elvis stuff that'll be hopefully available there as well. So
there we go. And of course, one of the other new things since the last episode. In fact, no, had we had a couple of episodes?
Last time, yes, we've had a few. We had a few episodes of Bad Batch.
Yes,
because it started on the 4th of January, didn't it? So we've had a good chunk.
Yeah, but we're sort of well over halfway through now, and so really enjoying the show so far. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Some of the episodes have been absolutely fantastic, like top notch. The 2-episode arc you had with set up in the Senate and that sort of clone hunting. I'm trying to think now. The assassin sort of guy. Those 2 episodes were fantastic, and the one I think we talked about in the previous show with Cody and stuff. Those 3 in particular have been real standouts for me. The most recent ones, where they lost the
ship and then got it back again, and
Havoc Marauder and slave labor.
Boba Fett's starship labor.
Yes, exactly. It's I could do without these episodes. I don't think they're bringing anything to the table.
Yeah, I do get the sense that some of those, I use the word loosely, filler episodes are kind of really just trying to sort of set more of a scene for what is going on in the wider galaxy. So, like this 2-parter, they've been sent off to look at this mine that Sid's bought, and some rare minerals and stuff like that. And meanwhile, because the Empire's not about, there's people profiteering and kind of like we saw on Book of Boba Fett, you know, sort of crime gangs and things that are sort of filling in the gaps where the Empire dare not tread almost. And you get to that situation where, like in that episode, you know, you've got this crime boss that's basically exploiting all his workers, and then the Bad Batch come along and sort of expose him for what he's doing and sort of overthrow the regime. And I do think that when we look back on it as a whole series, that, as you say, there are those real flagpole sections that have really advanced not the sort of the mythology or the story particularly, but really sort of filled out some of the meat on the bones of how the Empire actually got such a big foothold, and, you know, answers some of those questions about, you know, oh, well, how come they got rid of clones and went to stormtroopers and all that sort of thing. So those have been fairly big, impactful story moments. But I think the overall groundswell of the whole series so far has been that the Empire is doing what it's doing, and meanwhile there are these little pockets and backwater, you know, settlements and things like that where the discontentment, if you like, is rising.
Yeah, and obviously I take on board the fact that the show's not aimed at.
Oh no, and
but it's got that hook for us that especially those episodes where you've got that sort of sexy connective tissue to the to the prequels, to the original trilogy. It's just those episodes for me have really stood out. And as you say, it's filling in some gaps almost, and just bringing things nicely together. Stunning animation as always in all the episodes. The music's incredible. I don't know how D. Bradley Baker does it. You know, going from character to character the way he does. I'd love to watch him work in the studio sometimes. That would make a brilliant, like, Disney gallery. I'm fascinated to know if he does, like, is he chopping and changing between the characters as he's doing the lines, or is he doing one
like
character,
all of Hunter's lines, then all of Wrecker's lines, and
exactly, because I think he must be doing that, because if he's doing it line by line, wow, I'd be like, hats off to the man. But hats off to the man anyway.
But incredible. Yeah, it would be really interesting to see a gallery type making of for something like that.
I'd be fascinated to watch that. So we're talking about the Bad Batch, and as we record this, just around the corner, Mandalorian season 3 is coming. Woo! But as you're listening to this, you will have watched the first episode.
And if you haven't watched the first episode,
why not?
Pause, go and watch the first episode, and then come back. Not that we're going to tell you anything about the first episode because we haven't seen it, but but there we go.
Yeah, it's exciting times, isn't it? I mean, the hype's certainly building big time for season 3. The trailers have been fantastic.
The trailers have been fantastic, and indeed, one of our very good chums, in fact, several of our very good chums, Blues Harvest, and fellow Darth Elvis and Friends conspirator, Mr. Andy Lith, drummer extraordinaire amongst his many talents.
Good, big him up some more. He's not just a drummer,
guitarist, puppeteer, banjo player, guitarist, singer, rotoscoper of lightsabers, video editor, graphic designer, director.
All-round good guy.
All-round good guy. Yes, the Blues Harvest have been warming up for their upcoming #Cantina appearance by actually playing at the recent pop-up Forge installation that was open earlier this week, I think it was, in London, to sort of mark the launch of Series 3 of The Mandalorian. So, yes, there's been some pictures and video of Pedro and Jon Favreau walking past as they're playing, and so hats off to you, gents.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a heck of a show. The footage I've seen online, you sounded fantastic, and I'm looking forward to sharing a stage with you guys again soon and catching up and hearing all the stories. So that was, brilliant to hear that coming off, and long may that continue. Hopefully it's the start of a beautiful relationship there.
That's it. Well, because there was talk. Oh no, that was Tem and Robert Rodriguez, wasn't it? That we're talking about putting a band together called Boba Fett and the Stormtroopers. So, see, if only it had been for Book of Boba Fett, he might have jumped up and you might have got a few bars out of Robert Rodriguez and Tem Morrison as well.
Yeah, Tem doing the haka or something.
That's it. Yeah. So there's one to aim for. Book of Boba Fett Series 2, and if it happens, my agent's fees are very, very reasonable.
And I know you've got two singers in the band, but I can do Boba Fett. Boba Fett. I could do some Mongolian throat singing as well. You know, I'm practicing. I'm gonna be ready to cover the Who. Is that how you pronounce it? The Who.
Yes. HU. Yes.
They did a Star Wars song, didn't they?
Wasn't it in
Jedi,
Fallen Order?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. Which actually is a source of a gripe for me.
Oh.
So one of the things I was looking forward to dropping through my door, which obviously wouldn't have happened yet because it's not planned to be released yet.
Was it the Darth Elvis Mongolian throat singing album?
Was the album of Darth Elvis Mongolian throat singing? But yeah, as there's obviously contractual issues with that being released at the moment. Yeah, the follow up to Jedi Fallen Order. Is it
Jedi Fallen Survivor?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the
Jedi Survivor.
The new game. So there I was, planning to pre-order like a good boy, and it's not coming out on PS4.
Oh.
Boo hoo! Yes.
Oh,
PS5, PS5, PC, Xbox, whatever they're on to now.
Oh.
So gutted.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I mean, I do have a PS5, but
so I can come round and play at your house.
I come around and play at my house. No, they've just released, or just a way to release the Galaxy's Edge game for PlayStation 5, but it's the VR2 only. We have a PlayStation VR, but the game's not on the PSVR 1.
There you go.
And I'm not forking out another £500 for a VR2.
No. Well, that was my sort of thing of like, I could buy a PS5. No.
That's our Sony gripes of the day.
Yes. Boo, EA. Sony and EA.
Back to the Mongolian throat singing.
Well, yeah, no. or back to the Mandalorian Series 3.
Yes, sorry. Mandalorian Series 3, which might feature some Mongolian throat singing.
Yeah, by Darth Elvis. Yes. Who knows?
If you're listening, Fav, I am available for Mongolian throat singing. You'd probably be better getting some Mongolians to do it, because, I need to get a teacher.
Hone your chops a little bit more.
My chops. Oh, well, still, you can't see people, but I do have a large pair of chops for some good reasons.
Yes.
Some upcoming performances and recordings and some editing and some videos and some... Yeah.
Yes. So, so as we say, by the time you're listening to this, episode 1 will have dropped. The footage and the sort of the speculation is rife on where this series is going to take us in terms of it looks like it's going to be the redemption of Din as he seeks to try and atone for taking his bucket off in the presence of others. So looking forward to it. Obviously everybody's favourite little Grogu.
Yay.
Hey, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. Yeah. Oh, we'll have to break that out for another show soon.
Let's see if I can do it in a different style.
No, not the Mongolian throat singing remix.
Oh, strangely,
that does bring us neatly actually onto the next track.
Oh, I was just going to say, weirdly, when I started doing that, my Zoom popped up saying, "Playing music, set up professional audio in audio settings."
There you go. It is just through literally the duration of the show so far. Your Mongolian throat singing has come up to the point that Zoom is now recognising it as a musical endeavour.
I'm quite pleased. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. But not featuring the Mongolian throat singing of Darth Elvis is our next track. But it is a version of the Book of Boba Fett theme. And this is one of our favourites and sort of semi-regular contributors to the show, L'Orchestre Cinématique, which Greg's really glad I've had to say this time.
Yeah.
And they, towards the end of last year, put out an album called Synth Wars, which is available on all good streaming platforms. And this is synthwave type, sort of really 80s Blade Runner-esque versions of various Star Wars themes. And this is, as already mentioned, the Book of Boba Fett synthwave version.
this is Julie Dolan, the voice of Princess Leia, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks. It's your only hope.
And that was the Book of Boba Fett synthwave version by L'Orchestre Cinématique from their Synth Wars album. Check it out on YouTube, all the good streaming platforms. Go and purchase some of their music and support the artists we play on the show. So we talked there about Mandalorian coming up, obviously, and as you hear this, it's already out. And Blues Harvest performing at the Forge event in London this week. Speaking of London, and speaking of Blues Harvest, and all things #Cantina. We obviously did a special episode with Jed, Mark, and the Martin Keeler not too long ago. And I think on the last show we announced the VIP after party.
We did, which is being hosted by Fantha Tracks. So if you're looking to get tickets, if you get tickets for the King's Row VIP area, you not only get a lovely little exclusive Cantina swag bag and a red carpet entrance and your own private bars and toilets and people fanning you with large feathers, and I can't actually guarantee the last bit, but you will also get exclusive access to the after show party, which is going, as we say, hosted by ourselves, Fantha Tracks, and will feature the wonderful Atomic Blonde DJ. She'll be doing a set which will be most enjoyable, and we have it on very good authority that the guys at the Indigo have said we won't close the doors until the last person leaves.
Indeed, until the last drink is drunk, they won't close the doors, so we can party until the small hours.
And just turn straight up, just literally come out of the O2, back over to the XL, straight in.
I'll be checking out about a hotel.
Wandering around to everybody, telling them how much you love them and that they're your best friend in the world.
Well, I'll have to do that on the Sunday because I won't be there on the Monday. But hey-ho, no Monday for me.
No.
But there's a little bit more Cantina news come out since then. I think we'd already mentioned as well Mike's appearance. He's performing some songs with Blues Harvest.
Yes.
The other little bit of news, which just came out yesterday, I don't think it's even been posted on the socials yet, but it was announced on the Star Wars Santa YouTube show. Paul Blake, Greedo himself, will be there at #Cantina. The guys were suggesting that you can maybe have like a photo opportunity drinking shots with Greedo.
Who drank their shots first?
Who drank their shot first? So Paul Blake's going to be there, and there's other news coming very soon. Particularly excited for this news to come out. I wish I could say, but
you signed an NDA.
Yes, when this news is announced, I think tickets are going to fly. So get your tickets while you can, folks. AXS.com, #Cantina 2 with Ash, Blues Harvest, Darth Elvis, the handsome bugger that he is, Level Up Leroy, and DJ Elliott. And as I say, lots and lots of special guests still to come. So speaking of guests, shall we...
Speaking of guests, yes. So,
I'm going to let you read this massive list.
Massive list. Yeah, that's because normally regular listeners will know we start talking about things and then go, yeah, we probably should have done a bit more prep before the show to make a note of what we're talking about, so that we actually sound like we do some preparation for the show rather than wing it.
Shall I announce these guests in the style of Mongolian throat singing?
I was going to introduce them in the style of Vic Reeves, pub singer.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, can you do it as pub singer?
Yeah. So the celebration guest list, we are led to believe, I think they said barring any last minute additions. So read into that what you will.
This is meant to be the final list.
This is supposed to be the final list unless somebody else magically crops up at the last minute. But we have, in alphabetical order...
Oh, well done.
Yes, our good friend, the first female stormtrooper, Sam Elaine. We've got D. Bradley Baker, Caroline Blakiston, Vivian Lyra Blair, Silas Carson, Michael Carter, Hayden Christensen, Gwendolyn Christie, Aidan Cook, Sean Crawford, Anthony Daniels, Annabelle Davis, Harrison Davis, Warwick Davis, Rosaria Dawson, Tim Dry, Ashley Eckstein, Mike Edmonds, Giancarlo Esposito, Denise Goff, Brian Herring, Matt Lanta, Dennis Lawson, Ian McDermott, Ewan McGregor, Mads Mikkelsen, Mike Quinn, Tim Rose, where did he come from? Katie Sackhoff, Swoon, Andy Serkis, One Way Out, Eunice Suetamo, Femi Taylor, James Arnold Taylor, Indira Varma, Carl Weathers, Ming Na Wen, Billy D. Williams, and Matthew Wood. And now I know how the bloke feels who reads out the football scores.
So just reading that list, I've got Wood, but...
You've got Matthew Wood's autograph. There you go. Okay.
I do.
Cool.
That is a cracking list of guests.
There's a really, really nice mix there of... Obviously, there's a big focus on Jedi 40th and also the Clone Wars... Because is it 15th anniversary of the Clone Wars or something? I read somewhere. See, now we're back to our usual production values. I should have written that down.
Yeah, I think that'd be about right. Yeah, it is. It's in the side of a box, isn't it? It's side of Lego boxes recently.
Yeah, because that's what they're doing, like a combo
15th
photo
anniversary.
They're doing a combo photo shoot with Dee, Ashley, James Arnold Taylor, and possibly somebody else from that list. But nice.
So it's nice that two of the guests are good friends, Sam and Sean Crawford. Yes, Sean Crawford. You can get 3 autographs from them, but I think they go up in official pics. You have to book a session. But
yes,
I think my understanding that it's sold out again already. So if you've got tickets for them to get 3 autographs, well done.
And not only that, not saying that any of these autograph signers are better than any of the others, but from personal experience, I do know Sean Crawford is possibly one of the best convention signers out there. I've seen him at several shows, and not only do you get your autograph, and I'm hoping he'll be allowed to do this at Celebration, but he normally gives out exclusive patches, Yak Face merch. If you take a Yak Face figure, you get an exclusive card back and sticker and things from him. So he really good value to meet. And with some of these legacy actors, you know, you're likely to find the queues for them are going to be a little bit shorter than for the likes of Ewan and Hayden and Rosaria Dawson. So you are more likely to get a little bit more of a chance to chat to them. Only from my personal experience, you know, I'm not sure how it's all going to operate for Celebration. So that could be a load of rubbish. But yeah, hopefully, certainly, I know you've done Celebration signings before now, including at Anaheim last year.
Yeah,
where you had the two extremes. So you got Ewan, which was literally a hello, scribble, off you go.
Yeah, conveyor belt. Yeah,
and it was
I had a couple.
Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, Rupert Friend.
Rupert Friend,
and my head's gone blank. Kelly Marie Tran. I was lucky to get both of them. I think I was the last person to get Kelly, so I got a bit of time with her and a good bit of time with Rupert. He was fantastic in Anaheim. Just good timing. And you're totally right enough. If I don't know how it's going to work this year, but if you get the chance, you see somebody's quieter, you can. I don't imagine you'll be able to go up to the table and purchase there and then. You probably have to buy them elsewhere and then go up to the table. But
yeah, there's usually like a sales desk, isn't there?
So yes. So if you get that opportunity, somebody's a bit quieter and you want to get their autograph, I would do that because you get a bit more time with them. Great experience. My first celebration, which was the first Celebration Europe in 2007, and that was a case of you just went up to the table and paid. Kenny Baker. I got a good 15, 20-minute conversation with me and the wife with Kenny Baker. It's still one of my favourite memories. He was such a lovely guy.
Cool.
Sadly missed.
Yes.
Good lad, Kenny.
And keeping on the droid theme, one of our very good friends, Brian Herring, BB-8, he's always full of stories. He was also at Echo Live, and he wasn't there officially. He was sort of acting as a handler for Paul Casey. which is very strange, because like people were coming up and like obviously talking to Paul, getting him to sign stuff, and a few people twigged who he was, but there's a few people who just thought he was like somebody that was there. It was quite funny. It was like talking to him a little bit. In fact, part of that conversation you will find out more from in the not too distant future.
Oh.
Because it was a rather fruitful conversation, shall we say?
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, but yeah, I think a really nice balance of guests. From
will you be purchasing any photos or autographs?
It's not really something that I sort of go for generally. Anyway, you know, I've got a few signatures over the years, mainly from some of the smaller events where it's more been that I've, you know, gone to talk to whoever it was. So Brian did a presentation sort of show at a festival near to me, like an arts festival, and he did like a 90-minute sort of chat and presentation and Q&A, and then was doing a charity signing afterwards. So I got his autograph there. And I've got a few over the years, but it's not sort of really an area that I focus on massively. It's more of a sort of byproduct of talking to some of these people at times and various events. So,
Yeah.
But yes, so if you are going for photo ops or autographs, enjoy. And you know, if you don't manage to get whoever you were after, there is still plenty to be done at Celebration. Lots and lots and lots of content, panels. It's not just all about the big daily panels, you know, the big reveals. You know, everybody's speculating there's going to be a Jedi 40th panel, which may or may not involve some of the original actors. You're likely to have panels launching some of the new shows, you know, an Ahsoka panel, potentially, a Skeleton Crew panel, all those sorts of things. But even if you miss out on those, there is just so much going on every day. You know, some people don't even go near any of those and stick to some of the smaller stages. The collecting track is always a good one, with their little Star Tots badges.
Star Tots.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and you see those cropping up after each celebration. In fact, somebody was selling the entire set from Anaheim at Echo Live.
All right. Not cheap, I would imagine, either.
No, not cheap at all. But they're free if you go to the collecting track panels. So, you know, keep your eyes on the panel announcements and stuff like the collecting track. You can find out all about, you know, vintage collecting, modern collecting, cereal box collecting, all those sorts of things that are relatively inexpensive from a collecting point of view. Obviously, maybe not the vintage so much, but but even so, there's likely to be a collecting track panel on the toys of Return of the Jedi. Again, I don't know that. I'm just purely speculating.
Yeah.
That they'll try and tie it in. So who knows? Maybe the Star Tots badges will be tied into Return of the Jedi 40th. I don't know, but it's some. Again, you could get into collecting Star Tots badges just through going to all of those panels. So
Indeed.
Have fun. It will be fun, as it always is. And there we go. So, next up is something very close to my heart. As regular listeners will be all too aware, and obviously if you were paying attention earlier as well, yes, drums is my thing.
You like some drums?
I like drums. Yes, I like drums. I like hitting them. I like listening to them. And this next track was another one that fell out of my my recent deep dive into Star Wars remixes and things. And this is two guys with Stormtrooper buckets on doing drum covers of some of the Star Wars themes. And the one gentleman whose channel it's actually published on is a guy called Casey Cooper. So our second Canadian of the episode goes by the name of Cooper Drummer on Facebook and YouTube, where the E's are number 3s. And he's also active on the Drumeo channel, which anybody who's into drums and music will know is a drum education platform on the net. So loads of content that they put out there, sort of master classes and things like that with famous drummers, and little tips and session techniques and things like that. So well worth investigating if you're a drummer of any standard. So yeah, but this was particularly good fun, and yeah, also obviously quite close to your heart because your former drummer was, of course, a TK trooper.
Indeed. Yes. Yeah. Stormtroopers can hit things sometimes. Can
hit things. Yes. Although I think they do say at the end of the regular video that it's slightly tricky to see out of the helmets. So yeah. So here we have Cooper Drummer, aka Casey Cooper, with the Stormtrooper drum cover Star Wars remix.
You're listening to Fantha Tracks. Flip through the galaxy of literature with Cannon Fodder hosts Brian Cameron, Matt Booker, Mark Newbold, and Mark Mulcaster.
Count me in.
Spin round the rim with Desert Planet Discs. Your musical journey through the space lanes with your hosts, Carl Bayliss and Greg Robertson.
The hottest tunes this side of Mos Eisley.
Get the latest news, interviews, reviews, and much more on Making Tracks with your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
Like an Ewok battle wagon out of control.
Join hosts Claire Henry and a rotating panel of guest hosts for the podcast that's full of hope. Planet Leia.
I love you.
I know.
It's time to head south with the Fantha from Down Under, Adam O'Brien.
Oh, g'day, mate. How you going?
Start your engines with Paul Naylor and Mark Newbold as they lift the hood on starships, airspeeders, swoops, capital ships, and more from across the cosmos. And for everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark fanthatracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
And that was Casey Cooper Drummer on YouTube with the Stormtroopers drum cover Star Wars remix. Highly recommend going to check that out on YouTube to see them in action. Very, very impressive work, gentlemen. So before we wrap up the show, I mentioned near the start of the show that we have some new Darth Elvis merchandise on the way, which will be available at #Cantina. We've got some Darth Elvis and Friends t-shirts, which will be just hit the button on today, and some Darth Elvis Last Dang patches, and some stickers, which I've just had a design for, which I'm going to hit the button on as well. So, as well as the lovely, lovely #Cantina 2 merch, which will be on offer.
And literally, people, hot dang off the presses. So, as we're recording this on the 24th of February, literally 30 minutes ago, on the Cantina Facebook page, they've dropped the announcement that the #Cantina are excited to be working in collaboration with Alliance agents to bring you some great guests who will be available for autographs and photo ops. So stay tuned for transmissions and make sure you have your tickets for #Cantina on April the 9th at the Indigo at the O2. So even more reason now to get yourself along to Cantina, because there will be photo ops and autograph ops with some of the great and good of Star Wars. So be very interesting to see who that is. It's not just you, is it, Greg?
Well, I'm happy to sign. I haven't agreed a fee for my autograph yet, but I'm going to go with the celebration price end of the scale.
Okay. £300 for an autograph.
170, so I can pay for a photo op with Rosario Dawson would be perfect. But yeah, I don't do what I do for money. It's for the love of.
Good job, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very much for the love of performing, singing, and just it's my give back to the community for just being, the greatest fans in the world, and my thanks to George for. Not that George has ever, seen me or probably ever will. Yet. But it's very much it's not about that for me. But I will, if anyone wants an autograph from Darth Elvis, come and see me. I will happily sign anything. I won't be charging a penny. Until I'm in Star Wars, and then I will start charging.
Then you will obviously start charging, yes.
Which will never happen, but hey ho.
but there we go. So literally hot off the presses there for people. We can't even pretend that we know more, and we're gonna.
Well, we can. Paul Blake's one of the people who was just announced. Talked about earlier on the show.
Yeah.
The official announcement's out now. They talked about it in that YouTube channel last night, literally last night. But Paul Blake's the first announcement.
Yeah. So there you go. So all good fun, and lots of Darth Elvis merch, lots of Cantina merch. But of course,
Blues Harvest merch will be there as well.
Blues Harvest will have their own merch as well.
Level Up Leroy, I'm sure.
Oh yes, he's a good one for a sticker and a tee. Is Mr. Leroy? So
he's got some great merch as well.
Oh.
Make sure you save pennies for celebration.
I'm going to say I'm going to need to take about 7 changes of t-shirt with me so that I'm sporting the right brand during the right set.
Yeah, you will.
So yes. Oh, that could be interesting.
Get a photo op with the bands.
Yeah. So
VIP after party.
Yeah. So really looking forward to #Cantina. And as we've said previously, it will be Darth Elvis's last public performance.
Yeah, remember the public bit, just in case, Lucasfilm, George phones me and asks me to come in and perform.
Kathy says the Ahsoka rap party needs an Elvis Star Wars themed.
Well, this brings me back to a point I was going to mention earlier on. Obviously, I'm saving for going on holiday, so I'm not partaking in any autographs or photo ops this year. I'd love to get Rosario, but that's not going to happen. I'm saving for my summer holiday with the family. But Rosario, obviously, if you want a picture with Darth Elvis, I will not charge you for that picture.
There you go.
You're welcome to share that picture with me afterwards.
Obviously.
So come down to #Cantina and get your picture with Darth Elvis.
That's it.
That's it, everybody. Go. Everyone's welcome to come and get a picture.
Yeah. And of course, although it will be the last public performance, as we've also said, there will be no shortage of upcoming new music from Darth Elvis and friends. And indeed, we've been a little bit busy again.
Yes.
We have.
So
these last few days have seen another new Darth Elvis track come to life. So, Greg, do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
So it's a new version of an old Darth Elvis and Imperial song. So back in the day, long time ago, in fact, it was one of the first songs we did. We did a little less conversation by Elvis, a little less disintegration. Yeah. And it was all about Boba Fett. When The Mandalorian came out a few years back, I rewrote the lyrics, and it's been talked about for a while of collaborating with somebody else, which might still happen. So I won't talk about who. I rewrote this a few years back for Mandalorian, and I've just never got around to recording it. So with Mandalorian Season 3 coming out on the 1st of March, I thought, let's get this song recorded, ready to rock for the Mando release. So this is A Little Less Disintegration, which is now about the Mandalorian, and not Boba Fett as it originally was, as recorded with Darth Elvis, and put together nicely by Mr. Mooncat Drums.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. This is A Little Less Disintegration.
Fired up the Razor Crest. All these bounties gonna get best out of my chest. I can bring you in warm, bring you in cold. Don't care if you're young, don't care if you're old. Stow your places and get on board. This is the way. This is the way.
This is the way. I'm a Mandalorian. So you think I'm some kind of mercenary? Do not self-destruct.
Focus, close your eyes and do the wavy hand thing. Save me from the mudhorn, please. It's a funky side show, which I could use it. Tag along with me, put my mind at ease. Yeah, a little less integration. Fire up the Razor Crest. All these bounties gonna get best out of my chest. I can bring you in warm, bring you in cold. Don't care if you're young, don't care if you're old. Stow your blessings and get on board. This is the way. This is the way. Save the child, I have spoken.
I have spoken.
I sense the force has awoken. Mando, 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 Mando. Don't procrastinate, don't disintegrate. Grogu, it's getting late, don't sit and wait around. Little less integration, fire up the Razor Crest.
No droids.
All these bounties don't get best out of my chest. I can bring you in warm, bring you in cold. Don't care if you're young, don't care if you're old. Throw your blessings and get on board. This is the way. This is the way.
I have spoken.
Can we talk about this later?
What? It's gonna be a bumpy ride. How do I know I can trust you? Don't touch anything. I'll find us some lodging, and I'll come back for you. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk to my ship with the kid. You're gonna let it happen.
Save the child, I have spoken.
I have spoken.
I sense the force has awoken. Mando, Mando. Mando, Mando. Mando, Mando. Don't procrastinate, don't disintegrate. Grogu's getting late, don't sit and wait around. Well, little disintegration, fire up the Razor Crest. All these bounties gonna get best out of my chest. I can bring you in warm, bring you in cold. Don't care if you're young, don't care if you're old. So your blessings and get on board. This is the way. This is the way.
I have spoken. Excuse me. Can I have a word?
Hot dang, Darth Elvis has spoken.
Hi, this is Vivian Lyra Blair, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
So that was Darth Elvis, aka him, and friends, aka me, at the moment, and a little less disintegration cover of the JXL remix of A Little Less Conversation by Elvis Presley, released just a few days ago to coincide with the launch of Mandalorian Series 3.
This is the way.
So that about wraps us up for another spin round the desert planet.
Indeed, indeed.
Indeed. So our next scheduled episode will be dropping, I believe, right around Celebration. So make sure before you go to Celebration, you've got your subscription to the Fantha Tracks podcast channel all ready and sorted, and we will provide you with some top-notch chatter, music, and much, much, much more to keep you entertained while you're stood in a queue waiting to get into a queue.
QFest 2023, baby.
Yeah, QFest 2023. That's what we're at.
I think, next show we'll probably give you some little tips and things to keep in mind for Celebration and all the kind of events happening around Celebration.
Yeah.
Keep you up to date with.
Yeah, whatever we know, we will pass on. So it won't be a lot.
No. Been to a few celebrations, but yeah.
If there's a bright planet in the center of the universe, you're on the planet, or the bright sun in the center of the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from. And if there's a fountain of knowledge in the center of the universe, our desert planet is definitely farthest from it.
Well, I live in the northeast of Scotland, so I kind of feel like I'm the
farthest from anything, yes. Yeah. But there we go. So, thank you once again for listening.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch you next time. And with that, it's a hot dang from me.
And it's a hot dang from him.
Hot dang!
Thanks for listening to Desert Planet Discs. If you want to stay part of the action and up to date on all the latest Star Wars news, check out the Fantha Tracks app via the App Store on your mobile device.
You can contact us via email at radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and be sure to subscribe. Leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice.
Don't forget to head to fanthatracks.com/radio home of Fantatrax Radio, and follow us on our social media feeds at Fantatrax and bookmark fantatrax.com for all the latest in Star Wars news.
The throat singing version.
Coming up next on Fantatrax Radio, it's Making Tracks.
Come back soon, I'll be waiting.